What's going on, guys? AD here, and welcome to Recon Wildlands. This is kind of a basic overview of the game and what you can expect when you start Recon Wildlands, as well as my first impressions of the game. When you first start the game, you're going to be taken to an intro screen where it kind of explains what your mission is, what your objectives are, in a really cool fashion. I'm not going to spoil it too much, but your main objective is really to take down the Santa Blanca cartel. There's a lot of different cartel members that you can take out, and you don't have to take them out in a specific order. You can take them out in any order that you want, but different cartel members are harder in difficulty, so some may have more troops than others, some may be harder to get to, but your end goal is to take out the boss of bosses, El Sueño. And in order to get to him, you actually have to take out quite a few of his underbosses before he'll reveal himself for you to be able to attack. So once you go through the intro, you're then taken to character customization, where then you can create your character and you can kind of select your look of your character. Now, one thing I'll tell you guys is that make sure that you create your character the way you like, because if you don't like your ugly mugs, you're not going to be able to change your face after you start the game. So you can change your other things like clothing and accessories and stuff like that, but you can't change the way your character looks face-wise. So make sure you create a character that you like before you start the game. There's a lot of customization. You can change colors from your pants, your clothing. You can add backpacks. You can put eye patches on, all kinds of tattoos and sleeves. There's tons of helmets, hats. There's all kinds of stuff, and I'm sure there's going to be even more things when the game completely launches. Once you've finally selected your character and customized everything to your liking, you're going to be taken to a cutscene that's kind of similar to The Division, where you're on board with another woman, of course, who is explaining your mission and objectives, and you're going to be meeting with one of the rebel leaders. And the rebels are who you are allied with during the game, and you can do different missions for them. So you can collect different medical supplies, you can collect radio supplies like communication supplies and so forth, and you basically mark them with a beacon, and then the rebels will come in and take them. And what you need those medical supplies and those different types of supplies to upgrade your skills, because those are what you're going to be using to get better as you level up. So there's going to be a lot of exploration in the game, because you're going to want to try to find these medical supplies, mark them with a beacon so that the rebels will come, and then you can kind of get those materials that you can use to spend on your skills. So there's a lot of character customization involved. After the cutscene, you land outside of kind of a small abandoned shack where the rebel leader is, and you kind of discuss and talk some things through with him, and you get your first basic mission from there, and then you're free to roam wherever you want. So it's a completely open world game. You can do whatever you want. You can go anywhere you want. You don't have to do anything in a particular order, which I love. So right off the bat in this closed beta, we were able to just go out and grab a truck or a car or whatever, and just do whatever you want, tackle any mission you want, and utilize your drone to spy on enemies and so forth. So definitely a lot of fun. Now, one of the really cool things that the game has as far as the graphical options goes is that you can see what those graphical options do. So for instance, if your setting is on very high and then you lower it down into like high or medium or low, you can kind of see what that looks like to the game. So you can kind of pick and choose which settings you want to sacrifice to get a better performance out of. So if you want to, if the shadows don't bother you being on medium, then you can put them down to medium, and it shows you like what that will do. So you don't actually have to apply any of the settings until you see what they all do right there and then. So it's really awesome. I haven't seen that before in many games. I'm really glad that they did that in this one. There's quite a few different mission types available in the game so far from what I've seen. There's different lieutenants and people with a exclamation point on the map. If you go to those people and interrogate them, they will give you the option to find supplies. They'll give you the option to find skill points or some other things that you can find as well. And you have the option to do one of the three. And then once you select those options, it will then pinpoint those items on the map for you, so that way you know exactly where to go and where to find them. So skill points can be found in the world. They're kind of like medals and stuff like that as well. But you need skill points to upgrade your skills. You also get skill points from, I believe, killing enemies and doing different missions as well. You don't have to find all the skill points, but getting skill points will also allow you to put more points into your skills. Now, there's a lot of other things as well. You can, to get more supplies, you can capture helicopters and then deliver them to the rebels. Sometimes these helicopters are heavily guarded, so you have to kind of plan your way in. You can go, you can fire, you can sneak in, whichever way works for you. But I'd recommend trying to be stealthy and trying to use cover when you can, because this game is not too easy. I mean, on the veteran difficulty, which is the second level difficulty, I died quite a few times because I was out in the open. You've got to use your cover to your advantage, and you can't just like run and gun most of the time, especially when the Unidad forces come in, when the police force from the Unidad their level will rise, kind of like in Grand Theft Auto, where the police level rises as you do more damage. Well, the same thing with the Unidad forces. If you attack them, they're going to send in reinforcements, and if you keep killing them, then more reinforcements come, and it can get really hectic really fast, and you can get overwhelmed very quickly. So it's got to be, you're going to want to use stealth to your advantage when you can. But instead of just getting about 50 supplies for setting a beacon on random medical supplies or communication supplies, if you steal a helicopter, you can get up to like 2,500 supplies, so you can get a really large amount. But those missions are a little bit more difficult, so you're going to want to be careful which ones you choose, and take your approach a little bit different depending on what it is. There's also main story missions as well, but you don't have to do those right away. You can do those whenever you want. Some of the other more important things that you can find out in the world are weapon customization options and upgrades. So you're going to find all kinds of things, from your barrels to clips to magazines to scopes. You're going to find new weapons, so weapon caches are out there. So it's really important to just really explore the world and interrogate these lieutenants so that you can find these caches and find these new weapons, because you have to unlock them. You don't unlock them through experience. You unlock them by finding them out in the world. Another really cool thing is the loadout screen, so you can actually change and customize your weapons on the fly in the field. So you can actually go in to your weapons and customize your scopes. You can customize the magazines. You can customize the look of your weapon. Anything that you can imagine that you can change with a gun, you can do it in this game. It is pretty freaking amazing, I gotta say. You could just change the barrels, the guns, the triggers. I mean, literally everything. Any part of a weapon, you can change it and make it look different. And it shows you like the different stats of the weapon, so you can see how much damage this triggered or this barrel does versus another barrel. You can see how much ammo this clip holds versus another clip, like what your accuracy is with that scope versus another scope. So it gives you all the information right there, so it's really easy to see. I really love that a lot. The skills menu is available right next to the loadout when you're in the menu screen, and there's tons of things that you can choose from. There's the main categories of weapon, drone, item, physical, squad, and rebel support. And each one of these has their own tiers, and you can put multiple points into certain items from those. For instance, for your drone, you can increase the battery life of the drone up to 4 points. You can give it night vision, you can give it better range. And then eventually when you hit level 7, you can move into a lot more categories where you then have the option for stealth, so enemies can't see your drone. You can make it faster, you can give it more zoom, you can turn it into an explosive device. Tons of different things. For weapons, you've got weapon accuracy, hip damage, or hip fire spread rather. You can attach a grenade launcher, ammo capacity. So there's a ton of different options here. There's even options for your squad. so you can make your squad do more damage. You can equip a parachute, get the diversion grenade, C4, thermal vision. There's so many different things. There's even rebel support missions where if you do these rebel support missions, you can then eventually unlock rebel support, which will allow you to drop off vehicles. It'll allow you to get guns for hire, get mortars, or create a diversion, or even spot enemy targets. So there's just tons of customization options in this game. I'm really enjoying all the customization so far. And so far, there's only, right now, there's 4 faction states. I'm not sure if there's going to be new faction states added, but right now, the Ghosts team is considered Operation Kingslayer. So they are the Spec Ops unit working with the CIA. Officer Karen Bowman, who was on the helicopter at the very beginning cutscene to destabilize the Santa Blanca cartel. But you're also allied to the rebel forces, and then the enemy forces are the Santa Blanca cartel, which is the enemy faction, and then the Unidad forces. They are part of the Bolivian army, and they maintain order, tolerating the cartel as long as they don't fight. So the higher the Unidad's patrol level, the deadlier its forces are. Unless you use stealth, killing Unidad troops will raise the patrol level. And that's when things can get crazy, because then they can bring in military helicopters, gunships, stuff like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this overview of Ghost Recon Wildlands, so you guys know exactly what is going to happen when you start the game, so that you can get in and get started and enjoying what Ghost Recon Wildlands has to offer. Now, there's a few things in the beta that I experienced that need some work, and I'm going to let you guys know about those things so that you can kind of keep an eye on them. But right now, driving doesn't seem to be very good. It's too quick. The controls are like all over the place. The driving is not very. It's too responsive. It's not. None of the vehicles seem to have like any weight to them, and it's just like really cartoony. So those things could be easily fixed. They just need to change around the physics a little bit on the vehicles. But driving, flying, it really isn't that good. The only thing that I liked was the boats. I think the boats work the best out of everything. But helicopters, they still take a little bit to get used to. But again, all of this is fixable. The cover system still needs some work. It's not completely like the Division. It's almost better than the Division, because the cover system, you'll actually, when you move up into cover, you'll fluidly move into the cover. You don't actually lock in like you do in the Division, where you're kind of like locked to that piece of, to that cover. You're not locked into it. You can fluidly move in and out of the cover without having to press a button, which is amazing. However, the problem is with the thing that was good in the Division is that you could switch back and forth between left and right, looking left and then looking right. However, in Ghost Recon Wildlands, if you're trying to look left, sometimes you have to you try to shuffle left and it just backs up the character. It doesn't actually face to the left. So the character has trouble in cover trying to move between, turning around, basically, turning left or turning right. So easily fixable, but still a problem. Another thing that I noticed in the game is that your AI companions don't get noticed, or the AI doesn't really notice your AI companions, because at one point I had an AI companion literally go through the enemy and they didn't even see him. Like, it was like he was invisible. And I think the reason they do that is because otherwise your AI companions would get spotted all the time. So they probably have a thing where unless you're spotted, the enemy AI is not going to get spotted. However, your AI is smart enough not to attack unless you do. So it's actually still pretty cool to play by yourself and play solo. Now, I really didn't get into much co-op yet in the game. I'm going to be playing that, or playing co-op soon. But I can't really speak too much about the co-op itself and how the experience is. So you'll have to look to somebody else to see how that experience is. Right now, I'm just covering kind of solo play. And solo play seems to be quite fun for what I saw. Other than that, I didn't really notice any issues with the beta. I think it ran pretty smooth. I had to turn off VSync for my system. Otherwise, I was getting really low frame rates, but the graphics are wonderful. I was playing on a mixture of high and medium, so I wasn't able to run the game at very high, but I'm sure people out there can do it, and it looks really amazing. So anybody that says the graphics are terrible, I don't know, they must need glasses, because I thought the game looked really great. There's a full weather system, so it becomes daytime, then it becomes nighttime, it rains, it thunderstorms. It's a real full night cycle, day and night cycle. I love it. It works really well here in this game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this brief overview of the game. If you have any questions, feel free to post some comments below, and I'll try to answer them. If you have any questions about the closed beta or about the game in general, let me know. And if you want to see more Ghost Recon Wildlands in the future, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any new videos coming out for this game. And I'll see you guys again in the next video.
Shooting supply choppers to help cartel crushing rebels.